It is fair to say that the term red pill has become a little bit cliched over the last 20 years since it was first brought to prominence by the film The Matrix. And so you'll find people of many different persuasions using the term red pill to describe this new truth that they understand about reality. You'll find people who now know the truth about the differences, the fundamental differences between men and women, for instance. You'll find some of them describing themselves as red-pilled. You'll find people who've learnt about media fakery describing themselves as red-pilled. That is, people who've discovered that the telescreens in the lounge rooms of people all across the world can and does tell lies about the most egregious things on the regular, and nobody seems to notice and nobody seems to care. You'll find these people describing themselves as red-pilled. And also those who've discovered that there's apparently one group who are overrepresented in banking and finance and media. You'll find them describing themselves as red-pilled as well. So the term is now used in many different contexts. But we get the basic idea behind the term. People discover something, they now see the world in a different way, and nothing is ever quite the same again. And of course, what happens to Neo in The Matrix when he's first unplugged? Well, he's not a very happy chappy at all, is he? He spends a little bit of time trying to come to terms with this new reality. And we are, as humans, social creatures. And so when there's something that's important in our life, we want to talk with other people about it. But the big problem in learning about so many of these truths is that our friends and families and colleagues, they're not so keen to hear us talk about these things. They generally don't want to discuss them. And if we're smart, we realize pretty quickly that it's not worth bringing up because we don't want to upset people or aggravate people or do anything to cause any kind of social friction. So what can we do? Well, I've got a solution for you. You see, there's a website called fakeologist.com and they now run their own Discord server. So anybody around the world with an internet connection can sign up to the server completely for free and partake in conversations with other people who are at least willing to discuss these topics that might otherwise be taboo. So what I'll do in the info box below is put a link to that Discord server, and if you are interested in doing so, you can go and check it out and partake in the conversation that is going on there. And one of the really good things about fakeologist.com is that you won't find an agenda, a central agenda, being pushed there. So let me contrast with what happens elsewhere. Say you learn that the official cosmology that most people believe in, that we live on a giant spinning ball hurtling through space, suppose you've discovered that the evidence to support this notion maybe isn't as solid as we might have been led to believe. When you go to discuss this with other people who are open-minded to it, chances are you're going to be talking to flat earthers who believe in this new movement that's going to take over the world and bring down NASA, and they're pushing a flat earth agenda, whether they realize it or not. And the smart man doesn't want to spend too much time with dogmatic people. So do you really want to discuss this with that kind of closed, almost religious-like atmosphere? I would say you probably don't. Well, the good thing about fakeologists is that you'll find flat earthers of varying degrees of severity. You'll find ball earthers. You'll find raging heliocentrists who seem to still believe that we are indeed hurtling through space. You'll find geocentrists. You might even find one or two bon-earthists. You'll find all kinds of people there, and there's no central agenda that's being pushed. So if you're open for that kind of conversation, I strongly recommend that you check it out. So in the info box below, like I said, there'll be a Discord server link to Fakeologist Discord server, and you might want to go and take a peek. Now, if this is the first that you've heard of the Fakeologist Discord server, you might be thinking, well, what kind of conversations are happening there? Can you give me an example? Indeed I can. Also in the info box below, you'll find a link to a chat that I had on that server with a gentleman named Velasette. And in this chat, we discussed a whole range of things, from media fakery to alternative cosmology to a broader discussion about the psychology of so-called truthers, the normies, the masses, why it is that people seem to be able to believe such ridiculous things with absolutely no evidence. We discuss a whole range of things. So if you're not already familiar with Fakeologist, you might want to listen to that before joining the Discord server to get an idea of what you might be able to expect. So once again, check that info box below, link to the Discord server, link to my chat with Velicet. Check it out, see how you go, and hopefully you can avoid finding yourself in that situation that Neo was in, where he felt all alone and lost, having learnt one of these truths, which is, I'm sure many of you can relate, a natural response or a natural outcome that follows learning some of these truths that most of the masses seem to be completely oblivious to. So that's it for me today on the 12th of February 2018. John the Bond signing off. Check that info box below, check out those links, and until next time, you guys take care of yourselves.